Geek, Citadel.
Welcome to Bullet Points, where I list what I liked and disliked about a game, so you can take my list, compile it with others, and see if you want to rent, buy, or watch the game on YouTube.
Now, jump down to the very bottom.
Are you nuts? I'd kill myself.
Don't be a wimp.
Come on, you can't be serious.
Watch this.
Raheem!
My leg!
Jesus, don't move! I'll get help!
Ha! I was just fucking with you.
Kyle Crane is inserted into the city of Haran on assignment from the Global Relief Effort, or the GRE for short. He's on a mission to recover a stolen file from a man named Suleiman. On arrival, he's bitten by the infected residents in the area and rescued by friendly survivors from the tower. Crane discovers quickly that the GRE wish for him to obtain the files by any means. He's torn between doing his duty and helping the citizens in Haran survive.
But there are civilians depending on this stuff.
Our plan is focused on the greater good. Remember that.
Haran may be ripe with the stink of the Walking Dead, but you couldn't tell by how beautiful it looks. Beyond desolate ruins of a city ravaged by corpses lies a gorgeous island surrounded by clear water. Zombie limbs crumble to the ground, explosions provide convincing particle effects, and moving through the darkness with only a small cone of light to guide you is terrifying. Assassin's Creed is probably the game that most people mention when speaking of parkour movements. Dying Light trumps that system completely by foregoing the automation of free running. You are in complete control of Kyle as he sprints, jumps, and latches onto the terrain to move around. It gives us a sense of euphoria and control that hasn't been done before in video games. It's ripe with smooth transitions as you bound over zombies or claw your way to the top of a building to enjoy the view. It only gets better once the grappling hook comes into play. You'll practically breeze through areas without ever losing your momentum. Techland got this one right, and I absolutely love it. When night falls, an untold darkness descends upon the city, bringing out the gruesome terrors of the world. Dying Light completely drenches the city in darkness. You can barely see your surroundings or the creatures that lurk in the night. Vicious hunters lurk through the shadows, sniffing out any runner who dares to step in front of them. They can chase Kyle down mercilessly and beat him to death in seconds. Playing the game during the night is like turning on the hard mode. You are rewarded more ability points for testing your nocturnal vision, but it's highly likely that one wrong step will summon a slew of zombies. Dying Light has a talent tree system that's actually mechanically sound. Skill points are earned by completing missions or by attacking or free running. There are 3 different trees, and each levels independently of the other. A lot of skill trees in other games are about making our characters overpowered. Dying Light reveals an ability tree that improves based on the player's skill, but doesn't make the game easier because they got a super damaging move. Unlike Far Cry 4 or Assassin's Creed Unity, 4 players can leap into the world of Dying Light and take on every single mission together. I don't have to tell you that playing cooperatively leads to endless hilarious scenarios. The transition from single player to playing with friends is seamless, and while our play sessions had a few hiccups, it was worth suffering to play with a pal.
If mama ain't happy, nobody happy. So you better make mama happy.
Kyle Crane parachutes into Haran with a bad attitude. He helps people out but treats them like trash while doing so.
We already paid this month. You're going to bleed us dry.
That is entirely not my problem. Rise wants his payment, so you make the payment or things get bad for you. And your woman.
He's also a bad judge of character and does some questionable things for the sake of a relief organization named the GRE. He does it all so that he can find a special file which can somehow make things worse in a zombie apocalypse.
Was that it?
What do you mean, was that it? I'm not a fucking human trafficker.
You seem to have forgotten how much is riding on this file, Crane. If Rise wants one girl, then give her to him. You'll be there to keep an eye on her, won't you?
The story plays it by the numbers with some cringe-worthy scenarios of evil villain syndrome. At least the people in the tower are often normal enough to pull Dying Light back from his James Bond aspirations. The map in Dying Light is huge. It's not as gigantic as, say, Far Cry 4, but it does take some time to get around. That being said, there aren't any vehicles or options to fast travel to any of the many safe houses in the game. I can understand this not being an option at night, but at least let us get around quickly in the daytime. Running across the map for long periods of time can be a bit of a chore, even after obtaining the grappling hook.
A guy like me isn't going to last 10 seconds out there.
Well, I'm surprised a guy like you's lasted that long in here.
Oh, that's very funny. Ha ha, very funny man.
Regular zombies take too much damage at the beginning of the game. Using melee against intelligent enemies consists of them dodging 60% of your attacks. Not only are they clairvoyant, the humans have the ability to parry your attacks, and this is a skill that Kyle never receives. The system quickly boils down to using a step back and power attacks to defeat enemies. It's a real shame too. The melee system has a lot of potential for a constructive parry, block, and dodge system. I'm thinking more along the lines of Chivalry, Xenoclash, or even a first-person Batman system, albeit with more skill involved. If you know me, I don't like fetch quests, but I tolerate them in most games. Dying Light has a particular formula of fetch quests that truly wins the bad award. Alright, let's break it down. Go here and find this individual. Now this individual you just made it to will tell you to go back to that other individual. Now that individual you just ran across the map to will tell you to go to another individual. And that individual may give you a quest reward or send you to the first individual instead. This happens too much for my liking, and it wouldn't be a problem if you didn't have to run for 5 to 10 minutes to get around. If a game is going to remove fast travel, don't give me long drawn out quests for the sake of stretching out the title. I'm currently running a GTX 980 on an i7 4770K with 12 gigs of DDR3 RAM, and Dying Light consistently dips below 60 FPS with all settings turned on. The main culprit seems to be the view distance setting, and simply turning this down offers a much smoother session. You'll still have to mess with your settings to get 60 FPS most of the time, but the frame rate still dips below 50 FPS when viewing the city from up high. I also encountered the occasional stutter when activating one of the many dialogue cutscenes. Patch 1.2.1 made a lot of these issues less apparent, but they were still there to nag me whenever I forgot about them. There were also quite a few bug issues that were pretty hard to ignore, like my co-op partner constantly crashing because of one mission, or enemies appearing in safe zones that we couldn't protect ourselves against.
I can't even begin to thank you enough. What's your name? People are going to know about you.
Look, my name doesn't matter, because you're still not getting out of here. No one's getting out of here.
Dying Light is a game I didn't expect much from, but it completely took me by surprise. As I'm recording this, I've played 30 or so hours and my fun level spiked the more I played. Even though we recommend you wait for a sale for Dying Light, it's still a game worth playing. There are a lot of optimization issues plaguing the PC version at the moment. Even with the updates, it is hard to recommend the game at full price. The fetch quest and story bring down the pacing of the game significantly, but the freedom of movement and the brutality of traveling at night makes this a game worth purchasing for zombie enthusiasts. For everyone else, it's worth trying out if you can get it for $40 and below. For more Geek Citadel plays and reviews, check us out on YouTube, Dailymotion, and GeekCitadel.com. Also, for the PC lovers, join our group on Steam Curator. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.